It's raining out today, so I figured it's a good time to go ahead and try to pull this thing out and take it apart. A pretty heavy motor, really old school. It says on here that it's a 1 horsepower induction motor. So that's a huge motor just for 1 horsepower. Well, it looks like it should be pretty simple to take apart. There's 4 bolts around the outside that run all the way through it. So I'll try to get those 4 bolts off first, see if I have to bother taking this bottom plate off or this flywheel piece on here. It's really rusted, seized on there, so I'd prefer not to try not to take that off. So I'll take these 4 bolts out, see if this motor splits, and then we'll go from there. Pulled those 4 bolts off, now I tap these out. I'll see if we can hit this case, see if it comes loose. That piece was pretty stuck on there, but just used a crowbar, stuck it in there, pried it a bit, and then tapped it a couple more times, and then it popped right off. Looks like a mouse nest was right inside of there. Thing's made a nest right on the inside of the motor. Piece is bent. I don't think I hit it at all. So it must have happened when it was running. Just turn it on and it hit something. Well, that's it for that. I had to make sure that this is copper first. Grab the grinder, give it a little scratch. I'll stick a battery on this, cut it, and then see if it's copper. If it's copper, then we'll try to pull that piece right out. I cut into it with the grinder. Right here, you can see it's copper on the inside, same color on the inside. So now I'm gonna have to go ahead and cut right through here. So I'll cut this steel. Hopefully I'll give it enough space just to split apart a tiny bit, and I could pull this piece right out of the center. Got my other grinder out because it has a cutting disc on it. So I'll go ahead, cut this across. Hopefully that relieves the pressure and it will pop open a little bit, and that piece will just slide right out. Popped a little bit as it broke loose, so hopefully loosened it up. I don't know if it did or not. I'm gonna have to get pry bar. Oh yeah, that thing's really strong metal. Use something like this and just wedge it in there. I wedged that in there. It popped loose. I'm gonna have to stick the crowbar in there and pry this up a little bit. And it seems to be tack welded right there. So there's 4 spots where it's contacting it, I think. So I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna try to stick the crowbar underneath here, pry this one up. Hopefully I can snap that little weld. If not, I'll have to use a hammer and chisel on the side, try to break it loose. Okay, can't do it with one hand. It's not wanting to break that weld loose, but this is actually budging to the side a little bit, so let's switch up the approach, try to hit it back and forth this way. For a second there, I didn't think that method was gonna work, but got it done. Grab some wire cutters. There we go. Got that piece out. Now I'll have to go ahead and cut one side off. Try to cut it as flush as possible, and then pry it out from the other side. So that didn't come out very smooth. The blade is really small on there. So I grabbed a chisel, tried to chisel the rest of the way through. Kind of made a mess, but I got it pulled out, and it's pretty smooth cut over here still. So I'll go ahead and stick this in the vise. Try to pull out the copper from the other side. Got it all pulled out of there. Wasn't very easy. Once you start to get the technique down, it's definitely faster and easier, but made a huge mess here. Now I gotta go through all this, sort out some of this plastic, try to pull out any of the garbage like this. And then I'll put it all in a bin, go ahead and throw it on the scale, see how much copper we got from the one motor. Got everything cleaned up, swept everything up, put the metal on the scale here. So I just put the steel on here first, all the pieces of steel that came off of it. 52.6 pounds. Just to have an idea on the percentage of copper versus steel. Got all the number 2 copper, cleaned it as best as I could. One little piece here, it was just a copper noodle that was on the ground, so just added it to it. It's not going to change the weight. So 1.4 pound container. 5.6. So 3.2 pounds. 3.2 pounds, number 2 copper. I'm not sure exactly what it's at today, but the last time I checked a couple days ago, number 2 copper, I put it on this list here, was $4.67 a pound. So a lot of work for that little bit of copper. It's really not worth the time unless you can get a better process down to get them taken apart quickly and efficiently. I have a whole bin back here full of smaller motors out of ACs and furnaces. Those are a little bit easier to take apart than the old school one like that. A little bit bigger. Sometimes when they're bigger, they're easier, but that one was quite hard, especially because it was welded into the case and it had such a thick steel casing on it. It's harder to cut through. But I have some ideas in place to try to make this more efficient, to get those ones cut up. So I may or may not make a video. See what timing is like when it gets closer to winter. If I have more downtime, then I'll try to process those. If there's no downtime this winter, then I'll probably just scrap those the way they are. I've actually started stopping taking those out of the furnaces and ACs because so much work and I got so much on the go. Time is much better spent just moving on to the next job. So that's it for today. Next I'll be taking this big thing apart.